Should you innovate or stay focused? Now, this was your question from what I understand. So I'm going to ask you to, I'm going to give you a couple extra seconds to kind of maybe explain a little bit. But yeah, question number one, should you innovate or just stay focused?
So I brought this up because this was a topic that was spoken on the main stage at Collective Genius, right? Like, should you try something different or should you, stay true to what you're doing? So it's hard for me to say this with all sorts of, I don't know what's the word, integrity and honesty. I truly believe that you should be focused on staying good at what you do, but at the same time, I am actually innovating right now. I'm rolling out sales management training, and we're implementing a lot of innovations, which we were not good at before. So we're innovating to adapt, but I think you really got to stay focused to stay true to what you're good at. And if you're good at acquisitions, really focus on acquisitions. If you're really good at raising money, stay good at raising money. Don't try to add all these different tools. Right now it's not the time to innovate. Right now is the time to dominate in what you're good at.
Right. Let's go over to RJ Bates.
I don't think as an entrepreneur you should ever stop innovating. So I believe that you should innovate, but when you do, you need to stay focused on that. I think where people make a mistake is they're constantly in the mode of visionary, innovating, coming up with things, and they never focus on it and they never complete a task. They never, ever become great at something. So if you are going to innovate, stop what you're doing, focus on it, implement it like Steve talked about. He's implementing novations into his business. He's going to get really good at novations before he moves on to adding another skill set to his business. So I believe it's important to just stay focused on your innovations after you come up with it.
Okay, time's up. Eric Brewer, your thoughts?
So the real answer is both, right? And I think that's a little bit of what RJ said and what Steve tried to say a little less eloquently. But the reality is that a lot of times people glorify innovation, and it really should just be improvement, right? So, and I would even say that to Steve, is that Novations hasn't really been an innovation for him. It's an improvement of his acquisition strategy. So I think what a lot of people do is when they do something, and you're going to see this a lot right now, where people will struggle to wholesale, they'll struggle to acquire properties because the market has shifted, and they're going to go out and seek this magic pill of innovation that if they're the first person to do it or they're early to the game, that they'll succeed. And that just always runs its course, right? Like every new thing becomes standard and then old at every cycle. So I think innovation should really just be improvement, and it takes course over the length of many years, not something you do overnight.
Okay. And CJ, bring us home.
Yeah, I think all these guys are wrong. I mean, it's evolve or die. You have to be innovative. You have to be ahead of the curve. It's always easy when we've got to this place of quote unquote success to tell everybody to focus, but we've all been on a journey where we've just been innovative in different things and tried to find different things that will work for us. Whether it's a certain investment strategy that you finally come across that finally just clicks and works. Be innovative. Do you have to have focus inside of those things? Sure. But you have to constantly be looking to innovate inside of your business and be creative about what you're doing. So I'm going to say be innovative 100%.
Yeah, and let me add some more context to this, right? Because when I brought this question up was right after Jeff Hoffman spoke, right? And he's the billionaire who founded Priceline. He's the one that invented the check-in kiosk, right? Like the same guy that invented the check-in kiosk at the airport is the same guy that created Priceline.com and so on. So like he's always innovating. He's always looking for the new thing. And I think that is an important skill. I think there should be people doing that. I think most people, though, should probably focus and master something before they go off to start something else. So, but that's the reason why that question came up.
I think the problem is that, like, I think CJ actually agrees with us. Where we're finding the differences in our description or definition of innovate. So I would say back to you, CJ, give me an example of a company or someone that you know that's great, and you would say that they owe that greatness to their ability to innovate.
I think Apple, Steve Jobs is a great example. Look, I think innovation
they were like the
leader
third,
in business.
fourth, or fifth. They were like the third, fourth, or fifth company to
right.
They haven't been great innovators.
Simple,
They've been great. Go ahead.
I think creating the iPod was being innovative, right? I think the point of focus in this conversation of focus is if you can build a team and an organization of people under you as a leader that allow you to be creative, that allow you to be innovative, they themselves can be very focused and targeted on the completion of the opportunity of the goal, but you as a leader of an organization, a business, you have to be creative. This is our art. You have to be innovative. You have to be creative about what you're doing.
I'm not trying to be combative here, but if you go back and look at the iPod, is actually, I mean, came out around the same time as the Zune, right? Like a lot of the guys are doing it. They just did it better. Like everyone was trying to accomplish the same thing. Theirs was just their marketing was just better.
Can we not say to do something better, that it takes somebody with a special way to be innovative about that thing? A lot of people had a podcast when you started Real Estate Disruptors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you were innovative in the way that you went about doing so. When I started a community, everybody at the time was selling courses inside of my space and my audience, but I was innovative in creating a community. So yes, it's in the same space or same construct, but being innovative about the way that you go about doing things when everybody else is trying to do the same, I think is a special gift when it comes to leadership.
But now look, both your podcast and your community, Chris, are not here today because of the innovation. You're there because of the focus.
I mean, honestly, Chris,
like innovation created the opportunity, but focus is what has retained it. Otherwise, if you would have kept innovating, how many innovations has Steve's podcast had in the last 5 years? Other than upgrading some lighting and the studio.
That's why we have this show right here. He's innovating.
I think this is just I think this is an example of focus.
Chris is right, because look at how innovative he is. He has an online course that he didn't even spend $100 to buy a webcam for. I mean, look at him. He's over here still using the camera from his laptop, and he's accepting the 2 Combo Award over there at the ClickFunnels thing. So honestly, I mean, I think Chris deserves to win this.
Okay.
That's why you're my guy, RJ. That's why you're my guy.
There we go.
I think you might have missed
now
all that sarcasm.
Now we could do a trade in fantasy, RJ. Now we could do a trade. You know the way to my heart, man. You know the way to my heart.
Employing the sales tactics. I like it, RJ. I like it. All right. The voting is getting ready to close out right now. It's actually a tie between CJ and RJ. So
we got 45 people here and 13 votes. Come on.
Yeah, let's get the votes up. Let's get the votes up. Let's get the likes up.
Just drag your cursor over to Steve Trang and just
seriously, I if you're here, can you please vote? Because we're kind of competitive people. Like, I just hate seeing CJ win when he's just the worst. Okay.
Well, I hate. There's 2 things. There's only 2 things I hate. Right, watching CJ win and a tie. So like, let's fix that.
And manly koozies. You also hate manly koozies.
No, I love koozies. Koozies are great. Check them out. You go disruptorsmerch.com.
There we go. There's the plug. There it is.
For your
Shout out to Leon Barnes in the chat too. We do see you. Do not forget that G not here this week, but I'm sure he'll be back soon. It looks like CJ starting to edge out in the voting, 42% to 32% on RJ. And RJ did concede. He did say that CJ should win this one.
With massive sarcasm.
Well, hey, listen, it's on record. Voting has closed.
I know that that's RJ's love language, or that's how he communicates. So I know that it was coming from a very sincere, genuine place.
So when we read the
appreciate
transcription later on, it sounds like RJ is really supportive.
The subtitling will say that RJ said he won. And it is official. The voting closed at 42%. CJ, welcome back with another victory in round 1. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling amazing, man. It's good to be back. It's good to be
there
back.
It is. There it is. My guy is ready. He is in 480p, locked and loaded.